You know, on the single island of Ireland, your daily commute could either cost you a small fortune or be surprisingly cheap. And it all depends on which side of an invisible line you happen to live on. This isn't just some weird quirk. It's a tale of two completely different systems. And it really makes you wonder, so what is really going on here? Are commuters in one place just getting totally fleeced? Or is the other system actually a hidden drain on everyone's wallet, even people who never, ever step on a bus? Let's dig in and figure out why your commute price can change so dramatically just by traveling a few miles down the road. Okay, so first things first, let's look at the most obvious difference, the price you actually see on the ticket. This is our first big clue in understanding these two parallel worlds. Down in the Republic of Ireland, the commuter experience often boils down to one thing: cost. We're talking about some of the highest fares in Europe. This system is heavily user-funded, which basically means the passenger, you, is shouldering a huge chunk of the operational costs. For a lot of people, that monthly pass feels less like a convenience and more like another major bill to pay. But then you just hop across the border, and the picture in Northern Ireland is completely different. The fares are way lower, the ticketing is simpler because you've got one integrated operator, and concessions are much more generous. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's a strong government subsidy that keeps the cost down for the person actually riding the bus. And that, of course, raises the big question. If commuters in Northern Ireland are paying so much less at the ticket machine, where's the rest of that money coming from? This is where the real story starts to unfold. At a glance, it seems simple, right? In the Republic of Ireland, you have high fares, meaning the user pays a lot right there at the point of service. In Northern Ireland, fares are lower, so the user pays less. But that's really just scratching the surface. Because here's where the two funding models go in completely opposite directions. The Republic of Ireland's high fares mean the government only has to provide a relatively low subsidy for each passenger. On the flip side, Northern Ireland's low fares are only possible because of a much, much higher government subsidy for every single rider. And this table just lays out that fundamental trade-off perfectly. In the Republic of Ireland, the financial burden is heavy on the user. In Northern Ireland, that burden gets shifted over to the taxpayer. It's a really clear choice when you see it like this. One system makes the user pay, the other makes society pay collectively through taxes. So in Ireland, the thing is, the cost is right there in your face. It's the daily commuter who feels that direct financial hit. You're paying a premium, for sure, but you know exactly what your ride is costing you because, well, you're the one funding a huge part of it. Now, in Northern Ireland, it's a totally different story. The burden is spread much, much wider. The cost is indirect, almost hidden inside everyone's tax bill. And that means that even people who never use public transport are helping to pay for lower fares for those who do. But wait, this story absolutely does not end there. The price you see on the ticket is just the beginning. Both of these systems create these unseen consequences, these ripple effects that spread through the wider economy, costs that aren't printed on any ticket. In the Republic of Ireland, those high ticket prices have a pretty significant knock-on effect. I mean, when public transport gets too expensive, people, they start looking for another way to get around. And more often than not, that alternative is a car. This pushes people away from using public transport, which leads to more cars on the road, more traffic jams, and more pollution. And all of that creates huge long-term costs for absolutely everyone. Meanwhile, Northern Ireland's cheaper fares might be masking a different, much less obvious problem. While the ride is cheaper for you today, there might be a pretty steep price to pay tomorrow. See, when you rely so heavily on government subsidies, it can create a new problem. It can starve the system of the money it needs to actually modernize and grow. And this can lead to aging infrastructure, slower innovation, and over time, a service that just doesn't get any better. At the end of the day, what we're really talking about here isn't just buses and trains. What we're actually looking at are two fundamentally different economic philosophies, operating side by side, shaping public services in very, very different ways. The Republic of Ireland's system is much more market-driven. It's all about individual responsibility, where the user pays for the service they're consuming. Northern Ireland's system, on the other hand, is built on principles you'd see in a welfare state, where essential services are supported by public money to make sure they're accessible for everyone. So, after peeling back all these layers, the answer to our original question, who is being fleeced, is, well, it's not very comfortable no matter which side of the border you're on. Because the truth is, there's a cost everywhere. In the Republic of Ireland, the cost is upfront. It's personal. You pay it directly from your own pocket every single time you tap your card. That bill comes due immediately.
In Northern Ireland, the cost is deferred, and it's collective. You pay it through your taxes, and maybe through a system that struggles to keep up with the times because it's underfunded. The bill is less obvious, but trust me, it's still there. And all of this leaves us with one final really big question. Do you prefer a cost that's visible and immediate, paid by the person using the service, or one that's hidden and long-term, paid by everybody? It forces us to ask what a society should truly prioritize when it comes to keeping its people moving. Which price is ultimately worth paying?